Team 8 had spent the last 6 months training and performing simple D-rank missions. Since Naruto and Hinata were both already above or equal to Kurenai, that gave them more time to help Shino gain power. With the help from his clan, he already perfected his clan techniques, so he began increasing his taijutsu skills, which were now Chunin level. With the help of some chakra paper, they found out Shino had a weak lightning affinity. After some time, he learned how to channel lightning chakra through his bugs in order to create lightning cages and shock enemies. They also taught him general chakra control by having him climb trees and walk on water. In total, Shino could be considered a low Chunin. "I think we should have a higher level mission, old man," Naruto proclaimed. Team 8 stood in the ready room, where they were assigned missions by the third Hokage. Iruka sat beside the third, holding mission request forms. "Naruto, show some respect." Hiruzen chuckled. "It's alright, Iruka. Naruto's been calling me that ever since he was a boy. And I agree, your team has the strongest genin of your class. I see no trouble in giving you a C-rank mission." Iruka nodded, then handed a form to the Hokage. "The client is a bridge builder from the land of waves. He requires an escort back to his homeland so that he may construct a new bridge." He beckoned for the client to enter the room. "Everyone, this is Tazuna, the bridge builder." A large old man with gray hair walked into the room. Everyone's nose was instantly bombarded with the smell of alcohol. "What's this? A couple of kids as my escort? I asked for real ninja." Naruto's eyes narrowed. "I can assure you that we are more than capable of protecting you." To prove his point, he released a wave of ki. Everyone in the room except Hiruzen and Hinata froze from the pressure. Tazuna, not being a ninja, fell to his knees. "He's lying about the rank of this mission," Naruto said, turning to Hiruzen. "There are more than just bandits, probably shinobi." Hiruzen nodded, remembering that the blonde could sense negativity. After a moment of confusion from the others and Tazuna, he confessed. There was no point hiding it now. "Gato, of the Gato Company, has taken control of the Land of Waves. I need to build a bridge to connect us to the island so we can get supplies. If we cannot, Gato will continue to bankrupt us. I do not know who he will send after me. The reason I lied was because we don't have the money to afford a higher rank mission." Everyone was silent as Hiruzen contemplated on Tazuna's predicament. His musing was interrupted by Naruto. "We'll help you, Tazuna. I can understand why you did what you did. I would have done the same." Naruto turned to the third. "Use my payment to pay for Tazuna, old man. It's the least we can do." Hiruzen glanced at the boy and agreed. "Very well, you will get your escort. But I'm going to assign another Genin squad to accompany you. Team 7 will be here for a mission in half an hour. Once they arrive, I will assign them to this mission alongside you." Tazuna gave a deep bow to the third and asked for the Genin teams to meet him at the village gate in 2 hours. Leaf Village Gates, 2 hours later. Naruto and Hinata were the first to arrive at the gates, followed by Tazuna and the rest of Team 8. Shortly after, the members of Team 7 could be seen approaching them. In front was Kakashi, but instead of his Anbu outfit, he wore the standard Jonin vest and a headband that covered his left eye. In his hand he held his favorite book, Icha Icha Paradise. Behind him were Kiba and Akamaru, as well as Sakura and Sasuke. The three had not changed in the 6 months after graduation. "Yo, Kakashi, it's been a while," Naruto called out. Kakashi looked up from his reading and gave Naruto an eye smile. "It's good to see you again, Kakashi," Kurenai said. "I trust you've been training your students well." Kakashi scratched the back of his head. "Unfortunately, those three aren't quite easy to train. Sakura's always clinging to Sasuke, Kiba's always trying to fight Sasuke, and Sasuke's too busy brooding." "Well, perhaps this mission will motivate them," Kurenai answered. Kakashi nodded back. Can we get on with this? I want to get home as soon as possible, Tazuna said, his arms folded. The two senseis nodded. The group set up formation around Tazuna. In front were Hinata and Kiba with Akamaru to detect incoming threats using their Byakugan and dog-like sense of smell. In the center surrounding Tazuna was Sakura, Kakashi, and Kurenai, and in the back were Naruto, Shino, and Sasuke. The walk was made in relative silence. In the center, the senseis were catching up, whilst Naruto was talking to Shino about lightning ninjutsu. Sasuke listened in while glaring at Naruto, who was not paying attention. Naruto turned when he felt anger coming from his left. He noticed a small puddle on the side of the path. It had not rained in days, meaning that there was someone watching them. He whispered to Shino, "Do your bugs sense any chakra from that puddle?" Shino nodded. His bugs did feel chakra. The two looked forward. Their senseis also sensed the transformed ninja, but decided not to pay attention. Shino was about to attack when Naruto stopped him. He whispered into his ear. Shino nodded and continued to walk. A moment later, two figures appeared from the water, wrapping spiked chains around Kakashi and Kurenai, tearing them to pieces. The members of Team 7 were frozen with fear. Looks like your senseis were no match for the Demon Brothers. Teammates set up a defense around Tazuna, who was cowering on the ground. We'll protect Tazuna, you take out the enemy, Naruto said as he got into a defensive stance. Sasuke glared at Naruto before jumping in front of the demon brother who was about to strike Sakura. He deflected the clawed fist with a kunai and kicked the enemy away. Sasuke dashed forward, attempting to land a blow on his opponent. On the other side of the path, Kiba and Akamaru were dodging blows from their opponent. Akamaru jumped at the ninja's face and began to claw them. Kiba came up behind and stabbed him in the back with a kunai. The Inuzuka and his dog jumped away as the ninja fell to the ground, dead. Kiba felt like he was going to throw up. He had just made his first kill. I killed someone, Kiba realized as he clutched his stomach. He felt a tug on his pants to see his dog trying to comfort him. Kiba picked up Akamaru and began to pet him, which calmed the two down. The duo looked up to see that Sasuke had finished tying up the second demon brother, who was glaring at his brother's killer. Kiba averted his gaze. "Well, it looks like you did just fine on your own," Kakashi said as he and Kurenai jumped down from the trees above them. "How are you still alive? We saw you get shredded," Sakura asked. Kurenai pointed to their dead bodies as they transformed into logs. They had used a substitution combined with a transformation jutsu. Naruto and Hinata helped Tazuna to his feet as the group began to interrogate the enemy. Unfortunately, he was not willing to give up information. Kurenai turned to Naruto. "Do you think he can make him talk?" Naruto spaced out for a second before nodding. Team 7 looked at him curiously. Naruto responded to them by saying, 9. Kakashi nodded, whilst the others were left clueless. Naruto placed his hand on the demon brother's shoulder. A minute passed, and the enemy fainted as Naruto retracted his hand. They were hired by Gato to kill Tazuna. There are 2 more who were hired, and we are likely to meet them down the road. "Do you know who the others are?" Kakashi asked. "One of them is Zabuza Momochi, an S-class rogue ninja from the Hidden Mist Village, and a member of the 7 Ninja Swordsmen. The other's name is unknown." Kakashi and Kurenai tensed. They both knew that Zabuza should not be trifled with. They turned to the Genin. "Leave him to us. Do not intervene." Sasuke growled. "Why?" "Simple. You'd be dead before you could even reach for a kunai," Hinata answered. "He's in the bingo book, meaning that he's on par with Kakashi-sensei and Kurenai-sensei, who are some of the Leaf's top elite jonin." Sasuke gritted his teeth. How could he ever hope to beat Itachi if he could not fight? "You may be strong by Genin standards, but if you can't beat Kakashi one-on-one, you have no chance," Kiba said. making his teammates look at him with surprise. It was unlike Kiba to act like this. These demon brothers were low Chunin who underestimated us. If they had gone all out, we would have been killed. Sasuke, I may not like you, but I know that you are stronger than me. Even so, Genin can't compare with Jonin. Naruto raised his hand. Permission to speak freely? He asked. Kurenai raised an eyebrow and shrugged. Sasuke, you, Kiba, and Sokka together would not land a single hit on Zabuza. Me and Hinata could maybe go toe-to-toe with him, and Shino would at least be able to do some damage. The fact of the matter is, you are too weak. Sasuke growled. And what makes you think you can fare any better against this Zabuza? You're the dead last. Naruto's eyes narrowed. I killed a Cloud Jonin at the age of 7. One stabbed the chest, one cut to the throat. Sakura gasped. Kiba shut his eyes, not wanting to talk about death anymore. Sasuke continued to glare at the blonde. Leave Zabuza to me and Kakashi. You just watch and see how weak you are, Naruto said. He turned to the silver-haired man. Kakashi shrugged, meaning that he was okay with Naruto fighting alongside him. Naruto's right, just leave it to us. We won't allow Zabuza to get to you or Tazuna. The senseis beckoned them to follow, not allowing the Uchiha to continue arguing. Naruto turned to Shino, who had stayed silent the entire time. Do you want to get yours over with? He asked, pointing to the unconscious demon brother. Shino thought for a moment before sending his bugs out toward the enemy. Once the bugs surrounded him, Shino channeled lightning chakra through them, killing the man. He then recalled his bugs. He turned to begin walking when Hinata stopped him. Let it out, was all she said. It was all Shino needed to hear. He turned and punched a nearby tree, making the wood crack and send splinters flying. He let out a long sigh before hearing another fist hit the tree. They turned to Kiba, who had a faint smile on his face. Hey Naruto, did you end up like this when you made your first kill? Naruto turned away from the Inuzuka. Worse. Far, far worse, he replied. Kiba nodded. I'm sorry. Don't be, Naruto replied, taking Hinata's hand as he began to walk. You know, Kiba, I never thought it would take death to make you dislike me less. Kiba chuckled as he ran a hand through Akamaru's fur. Neither did I. The journey went on in silence, each one thinking their own thoughts. Hinata was still in front of the group, her Byakugan active. Her eyes narrowed as she saw a giant sword flying toward them. Everybody, down, she yelled. Kakashi pulled his students to the ground, while Shino did the same with Tazuna. They did it just in time to see a giant sword pass overhead and impale itself into a tree. Everyone got into a defensive stance when they saw a figure appear on the sword's handle. He wore a headband with the hidden mist symbol on it. The bottom half of his face was covered with bandages. He wore light blue pants and cowhide for his boots and arm covers. His chest was bare, exposing his large muscles. Well, well, looks like I got some new playthings, including the infamous copycat Kakashi of the Sharingan. Sharingan? How could Kakashi-sensei have my clan's eyes? Sasuke thought angrily, hoping that what he heard was incorrect. He quickly made a mental note to question him after the battle. Naruto smirked. It's nice to meet you, Zabuza Momochi.